Welcome to the show. I'm James.
I'm David.
And I'm Bell.
I thought you... Anyways, we'll laugh. We'll argue. We might get a little too into it, but at the end of the day, they're just movies.
Spoiler alert, man.
That's just your opinion, David. Next week, we're doing Mission Impossible 4. Woo! We're getting into the realm of, you know what? Screw it. Favorite movies only.
Let's
David
go.
loves Mission Impossible.
I really do. Especially 4, 5, 6.
Today, though, it's the Big Lebowski. I didn't even say it. We're doing the Big Lebowski.
Big Lebowski.
All the Lebowskis. David, give us your rating out of 10.
The Big Lebowski is a delightfully absurd anti-movie that will leave you with a delicious, chilled-out taste of coffee, cream, and vodka on your tongue, and a lingering desire to watch it again in your mind. 8.3 out of 10. I love this movie the more I watch it. The first time I watched it, I was like, yeah, it's pretty good. And then you watch it again, and you think about it, and then you watch it again, and like all the jokes start to seep into your brain, and I just fucking love it.
Nice. I think some would say only an 8.3.
It's true. I think so. I feel like I have a hard time. I don't emotionally connect with the movie. Mm-hmm. I think intellectually, on a level of humor, on an absurd level, I really enjoy it, but I'm not like moved.
Yeah. True enough. Bell.
This was a weird one to write a slogan for, so sorry if it's bad. But Bob's Burgers, The Simpsons, Sex and the City, The Big Lebowski. What do these have in common? They're all sitcoms that got movie... Wait. The Big Lebowski is not a TV show with a long-established universe. For a movie with a story that has almost zero actual story, it's somehow great and makes a lasting impression by being unabashedly itself, even without any exposition. But that's just like my opinion, man.
Whoa.
8.6 out of 10.
8.6?
You threw me through such a loop there. I was like, does he want to do an edit? Did he screw up there? Wow.
No.
Elevating the game.
Part of the plan.
It is, yeah, it's pretty good. I like it a lot. I'd put it in the ranks of like Hot Rod and Anchorman for like lasting cultural impact on a certain generation. I just don't know if the story is good. It's just really fun to watch.
It's very absurd. Yeah. We can
talk
talk about
that's
it.
such a weird comparison you just drew. Anyways, my slogan's a cop-out. This movie is like Pulp Fiction for Rileys. Basically, I was just like, this is similar to Pulp Fiction in some ways, like in its era and aesthetic and setting, but it's like, it's not Wes Anderson, but it has the elements of Wes Anderson that I think appeal to Riley. So I mean, that's why I thought that. Anyways.
Fair enough.
The stupid slogan. 9 out of 10. I think it's a dope movie.
It's sick.
And I think it's deserved of its cult status.
Yep.
I said last episode that I was going to find out why people like it, because I had watched it before, maybe never to the end, maybe I fell asleep every time or something, but on this watch, I was definitely enhanced and definitely was like, I get it.
Yeah.
This movie rules.
There's some amazing jokes just nonstop, and like they're so layered in there. Like one scene will have like 7 different layers of joke, and they'll just kind of like slowly release each time you watch it. This movie's
some of them are so fast, so fast
good.
and subtle. Like they're talking about, it's just like a complete tangent where they're talking about how the father of the kid who stole the car is this writer who wrote the best seasons of this show.
Oh, yeah.
And they just start like singing this guy's praises, and then just end that whole tangent with and yet his kid's a fucking dunce.
Yeah, I think some of the best characters ever. But we'll talk about that after we do some of the best sponsor reads.
That's right. Thanks to Storyblocks for sponsoring today's show. Ever need a quick clip for a video but didn't have the capacity to make it yourself? Storyblocks helps you bring your stories to life without sacrifice due to time, budget, or resources. There's over 1 million royalty-free assets for you to choose from, including 4K HD footage, Adobe templates, music, images, and a wide array of diverse and inclusive content. There are subscriptions for every budget, so you can choose the plan that works for you. From their unlimited all-access plan that gives you unlimited all-access to video and audio downloads to enterprise licensing, so your entire company has access to assets as you need them. We use Storyblocks to line us tech tips, so we don't always have the time to go out and get the perfect B-roll shot, and it's also raining and dark here. So we use them all the time, and it takes our videos to the next level, and it can take your videos to the next level too. So check out Storyblocks today at storyblocks.com/TJM. Our next partner, who wrote this? Our next partner has a product I use literally every day. I started taking AG1 because I wanted better gut health without having to take pills/vitamins.
Are you using it every day?
This is for Athletic Greens. It tastes so good.
I actually drink it every day.
I haven't gotten any.
Probably because I took it all.
Taking it off the top, it hits his desk first.
Yeah, I
drink
want some.
Each scoop of AG1 has 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, superfoods, probiotics, and adaptogens. They're like transformers that make you cool.
I feel them.
It's got less than a gram of sugar, which is the key, and no tasty chemicals or artificial additives, while still tasting great because it's made in New Zealand and they're good people. Each pack costs you less than $3 a day. It's time to reclaim your health and arm your immune system with convenient daily nutrition. It's just one scoop in a cup of water. You don't even need to drink milk, you milk drinker. No need for different pills, no need for supplements to look out for your health. Athletic Greens is going to give you a free 1-year supply of immune-supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. All you have to do is go to athleticgreens.com/TJM. Again, that is athleticgreens.com/TJM to take ownership over your health and pick up the ultimate daily nutritional insurance. And an ad read with insurance. That's a sexy word. Thanks to Manscaped for sponsoring today's sexy episode. Manscaped's Lawnmower 4.0 is designed to keep your family jewels safe with their ceramic blades featuring skin-safe tech to reduce nicks and cuts. Leave the cables at home with its new wireless charging system that is compatible with most Qi charging pads. It's cordless, it's waterproof, it gets 90 minutes of use on a full charge in case you got a giant bush and you need them minutes. Head to manscaped.com/TJM20 and get 20% off and free shipping today.
Are you insured against nicks and cunts?
Did you?
Nicks and cuts?
Whoa.
So put a subtitle that says cuts.
Yeah, cuts.
Strong entry into the podcast, Bell. All right, let's talk about this damn movie.
Let's start with, I think, maybe the strongest element of it, which is the characters.
The synopsis.
Oh, the synopsis.
I gotta read the synopsis.
You're right.
It's a lot of James voice in a row after those ad reads. In early 1990s Los Angeles, lovable loser Jeffrey, the dude, Lebowski, is attacked in his home by 2 enforcers for porn kingpin Jackie Treehorn, who is owed money by the wife of a different Jeffrey Lebowski. One of the goons urinates on the dude's favorite Persian rug before they realize they got the wrong man and leave. Advised by his bowling partners, Walter and Donnie, the dude visits wealthy philanthropist Jeffrey Big Lebowski, demanding compensation for the rug. Soon after this, Big Lebowski's wife, Bunny, is apparently kidnapped, and Lebowski hires the dude to deliver the requested ransom money, $1 million. That night, a different pair of thugs ambush the dude, taking his replacement rug on behalf of Lebowski's daughter, Maud, who has a sentimental attachment to it. Convinced that Bunny kidnapped herself, Walter concocts a scheme to keep the ransom money by substituting it with a briefcase full of his dirty drawers. But they leave the real ransom money in the trunk of the dude's car. While the bowlers bowl, the car is stolen from the parking lot. Shortly afterward, the dude is confronted by Lebowski, who hands him an envelope from the kidnappers containing a severed toe, implied to be from Bunny. Revealing Bunny is one of Treehorn's actresses and lovers, Maud agrees that Bunny staged her own abduction and asked the dude for help to recover the money, which her father actually illegally stole from the family's foundation. Later, the dude is separately confronted for his failure to deliver the ransom by both Lebowski and a trio of German nihilists who identify themselves as the kidnappers.
Where's the money, Lebowski?
After recovering his stolen car, the dude finds homework stuffed down the seat signed Larry Sellers. Walter and the dude confront Larry at his father's home, questioning him about the missing briefcase. When he's unresponsive, Walter bashes a new sports car parked outside, thinking the teen has used the money to buy it, but the car's actual owner, a neighbor, appears and retaliates by bashing the dude's car, mistaking it for Walter's. Later that night, the dude is abducted by Jackie Treehorn's thugs, which culminates in a drug-induced music video dream. Soon after, Bunny can be seen driving by in her car, revealing that she was never kidnapped at all. In a post-coital conversation, which is my favorite kind of conversation, Maud reveals that Big Lebowski has no money of his own. His wealth came from her late mother. The dude and Walter go to confront Lebowski and find that Bunny has returned, having simply gone out of town without telling anyone. The dude explains that Bunny's nihilist friends had taken the opportunity to try and blackmail Lebowski, who, in turn, had taken the opportunity to embezzle money from the family charity, blaming its disappearance on the blackmailers. You got all that? The briefcase given to the dude never contained any money. An enraged Walter insists that Lebowski is faking his paralysis and lifts him out of his wheelchair, but discovers Lebowski is in fact paralyzed. In a final confrontation outside the bowling alley, the nihilists set the dude's car on fire and demand their ransom money. Walter valiantly fights them off, but during the altercation, Donnie dies from a heart attack. And then they spread the ashes and it gets blown all over Lebowski. And that's basically it. They hug it out.
It's so good. That ending is perfect, though.
Yeah. How many gifts come out of this movie?
So many.
At least that
many.
one.
Yeah, you're out of your element, Donnie.
Memes.
This is very quotable.
The bowling ball cleaning.
Oh my gosh.
Oh yeah. The Jesus.
Jesus, yeah.
Is there ever like a final catharsis on the Jesus?
Well, he got his own movie.
What?
There's a John Turturro directed and wrote a movie called The Jesus Rolls, or Roll with the Jesus, or something like that.
Did it ever come out?
It came out. Apparently, it's absolute trash. Like 4.4 on IMDb. Level terrible.
Out of 5? Yeah, no, I'd never heard of that. That's crazy.
Yeah, I remember before it came out seeing a trailer for it, and I was like, oh, that's weird. It's like based on like a French novel. Like it's about like a trio, like a love triangle kind of thing, like very sexual driven thing.
Yeah.
It's how he got onto the sexual predators list.
I love when he has to go door to door and like notify the neighborhood, and they just show that guy who answers the door, and then it cuts back to him, and they just end the scene there. That's just enough. Enough to get your imagination running.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, this is, like I said earlier, a weird movie. So I'd seen it once before when I was in high school because my then girlfriend loved this movie. So I was like, yeah, it's pretty funny, but I never really got it. And then rewatching it now, I got it a lot more. And like, man, the dude is an icon.
For sure. Yeah, when you compared it to like Hot Rod and Anchorman, I was just like raising an eyebrow because to me, those movies are funny to like 16-year-olds plus, whereas this is just not really going to be like, it's going to be way more funny to 26-year-olds plus.
No.
Maybe.
This
I feel
is,
like
my
it's
sister
more,
would hate this movie. I have a 16-year-old sister. She would just
I'm thinking
gone.
more the
She'd
way
be on her
that
phone.
it affects people's speech, like in that friend group or whatever. Like I quote this all the time, and there was things that I didn't even like know I did. Like, you're not wrong. You're just an asshole. And I was like, oh, that's why I've been saying that for years. That's from this, or you know, that's just like your opinion, man. And like, there's so many things where it's like really infiltrated how people speak and act and everything like that, and you don't really realize that it's like, oh, it's from this movie.
Well, I think it's so cool that the dude is such an icon, but he's such a anti-protagonist. Like he has zero proactivity. Like he's literally tumbleweed being blown around by all the different forces in this movie, just like letting things happen. And that's such a bad writing thing, but it's like they utilize that and make such an incredible movie around.
Yeah,
this
I actually
character.
think he's an quote unquote iconic character, a character who's not meant to change like James Bond or Han Solo or something, because he doesn't change in this movie. It's like they're trying to get him to change and he just won't.
No, he's set in his ways.
Because like the whole plot cakes off because he listens to the advice of Walter.
Yep.
Because what his default position is to just chill. Just
He's like, he wouldn't replace my rug. I took a rug.
It's over.
We're done.
Well, no, he was done before that. He wasn't even gonna go over
right,
there.
yeah,
Walter
'cause-
was like, "You need to go and confront the big Lebowski." He was just gonna chill, like, cause that's his whole thing. He's like one of those lazy people. It's like if the whole world was him, there wouldn't be cell phones, there wouldn't be electricity.
Yeah.
We would just survive eating coconuts, laying on hammocks, like, and be fine.
Yeah.
It'd be fine.
Well, the way they characterize him so well with the little things, like writing a 69-cent check for his milk because he doesn't have money. Like, oh, I just love it.
He even post dates it.
Yeah.
The scene with George Bush doing the live announcement is from like whatever year, and the check is dated to the year afterwards. I was like, oh, he post dated a 60
Is that
cent
year
check.
on screen on the news, like when it shows the news
I can't
broadcast?
recall. I remember looking it up and being like, oh, that's really funny
so
that he uses
funny.
checks. And it was like, I was on Amazon Prime, it'll like show you little facts. And it was like, oh, the check is post dated by a year. I was like,
funny.
oh.
No.
But I don't know. I feel like that's more work is to carry on checks and write them out. But I did.
Well, everyone
I
had
did like that.
everyone had checks back then.
I was like, oh, maybe that just means he doesn't have to bring a wallet because he's just a peak laziness. Not even have 60 cents or $1 with you. You're like, I'm just gonna write a check.
I love how he just dodges the question of whether or not he's employed at the beginning. I mean, it is immaterial, but
But I like that his chillness is kind of his weapon. Like when he gets yelled at by the Big Lebowski and he goes out and Philip Seymour Hoffman's like, well, what did he say? He's like, he said, take any rug in the house. And it's like,
Yeah.
he's smart and he's with it, but he's just, his chillness disarms people in a way that allows him to get away with so much.
yeah, he's a weird mix. He's not like a caricature of slacker laziness. He still has this like bravado and is outgoing. Like even when he's walking out of the mansion with a Philip Seymour Hoffman character and he spots Bunny, he just like stops in his track and puts on his like nicest smile and walk and just like approaches her. Just
Blows on her toes.
I just have to go talk to this attractive woman over here. So he's not just like, I don't know, for some reason that fact augments the stereo. It doesn't fit to the stereotype to me, and maybe it does to other people. But
see, that's why I feel like it felt like a sitcom to me, is because all the characters, I mean, except for Donnie, rest in peace, are like the same place as where they started.
Yeah.
Like it's like they couldn't have a lot of movies or whatever when it's based on TV show or like really important episodes, you know, kind of feel like they fizzle out because it has to end back to where the show can continue going at the end. So it's like, oh, okay, this is like what feels like almost like a Seinfeld episode, where it's a show about nothing. You're just like watching a movie and you're like, okay, those things happened. Nobody grew, nothing changed, and we're back to the start.
Yeah, because throughout the whole movie, you're kind of like, why does he hang out with Donnie? Like, or not Donnie,
Walter. Yeah,
I'd hang out with Donnie. Walter's just such an asshole. You're like, he's pulling a gun on Smokey was so offside.
Yeah,
and he's just getting him to so much trouble. He's so insufferable. He just waits to talk. He's a dick. But then, so if the movie didn't end like with them hugging and kind of resetting back and seeing the dude and Walter as like a yin and yang, then the rest of the movie wouldn't make sense.
I did like your offside pun, by the way. Pulling a gun on Smokey, offside, because he crossed the line.
Intentional.
Yeah. But I agree, and I feel like part of it could be, again, that the dude is just so chill that Walter wants to hang out with him, therefore he's going to accept it.
Yeah. I like your idea of it being kind of a sitcom in the sense that each character is so far out and so clearly defined that you really could make a whole TV show about the dynamics, because it's just so, everyone just rubs and like moves together so differently, and it's so interesting, just like the natural situational comedy that's coming out of just like the people talking.
They do not belong together. No character in a scene together would ever be in a room together, ever. Like the Philip Hoffman,
so close.
The Philip Seymour Hoffman character would never talk to Lebowski. Like the way he carries himself, and he's like such a sycophant, and he's just like so doggedly loyal to the Big Lebowski. Him interacting with Lebowski,
or even him and Bunny, like the scene where she's like, "I'll suck your cock
and
for
he's just like,
yeah. He can't watch and like pays $100.
All he can do is smile harder.
Yeah.
Oh,
so funny.
Yeah. Oh
so
my god.
Good.
And then like the two Lebowskis are probably the epitome of that.
Yeah.
They're just miles apart from each other. The dude and Bunny even.
Yeah.
It's like, how's a woman like that going to talk to a guy like this?
Yeah.
But he approaches her still.
Yeah.
He's got a nice smile. He can do. I feel like he can do it. He's like
Jeff Bridges,
killed
he's
it.
so charming.
Yeah,
he's so charming.
I was infatuated from the start. I was like, dang, this guy's cool. And it's funny because I looked up afterwards. It's like all the clothes he wears in the entire movie are his own clothes. I'm like, oh, no wonder it like fits perfectly. It feels like the dude is a real guy.
There couldn't be better casting. Like, it's like, that just is Jeff Bridges. I feel like every role since The Big Lebowski, he's kind of just been that vibe.
What are his other noteworthy roles?
Tron.
Oh yeah.
What? But he's
like
also
the bad
like
guy.
evil. Yeah. How was that Bowski-ish?
No.
Oh, I see
Well,
what you mean.
the not robot version of that character is more. Not R.I.P.D. What else? I don't know.
This is the research section of the podcast.
Yeah.
We sit in silence and look at
His
laptops.
next movie is called The Old Man.
Hey,
He does really well in that one. He's like the same character.
Yeah, he's got that kind of like intimidating, paternal kind of vibe, like a big forehead type of actor.
Iron Man.
I don't know, man.
Oh, True Grit. Yeah. Okay, not quite the Big Lebowski vibe, but I feel like it unlocked a new era of his career. But maybe it's I didn't know his stuff.
Man Who Stared at Goats was probably Bowski-ish. I haven't seen that one though, but I guess.
Yeah, no, we got to do more Cohen Brother movies.
I know. We've barely done any. We've done No Country for Old Men, and is that it?
Yep. It's funny. I find this reminds me of No Country for Old Men in the sense, like No Country for Old Men's kind of nihilist, where it's like nothing matters, there is no connection to anything, and this is more absurdist in the sense that like nothing matters, just live in the moment, live in the joy, and like that's why the dude is so emblematic of this idea. Like there's a whole religion called like dudism, and you can see why. It's like his
dude saints.
He's such a loser, and when you look objectively at his life, like his toilet, I really noticed it this time how fucking disgusting his bathroom is. But you're like, I don't care. He's so cool. And you're like, the way he's living his life, he seems like genuinely kind of happy and like.
Yeah, I actually would have described him as nihilistic if the movie hadn't spent so much time
making fun of nihilist.
Making fun of nihilist the entire movie.
It's not fair.
So what about him makes him not a nihilist. Like, because he seems like he is different from Walter in that, like, Walter cares about order and rules and is like a patriot, and he wants the world should be a certain way. Even though he's living in the past, he still thinks it should be that way. Whereas the dude is more like, whatever the way the world wants to be, that's up to the world. I'm going to be standing outside of it and just kind of existing through it, like kind of just like I'm liquid and I'll run on whatever gutters the world constructs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You know what I mean?
And he smokes a lot of weed.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like
he's just gonna get away with whatever he can get away with. He's like just like a bottom feeder.
I feel like the movie goes out of its way to make him feel out of place and feel like everything in this movie is sort of out of place. Like the opening is a shot of tumbleweed rolling through the city, and it's like Western music and it's Western font, and then it like pans up and it's like 90s LA, and you're like, okay. And then it's about this, like, it's this film noir with this weird stoner dude, and it's like, it's absurd. So it feels like that there is no reason to everything, but it all feels like it's just like nothing in life has its place, and you can't know for sure, but it's, yeah, I don't know. I guess it's an intangible element that makes it
But he's
different
also
than
presented
nihilism.
as a man who's like perfect for his time.
Yeah.
Like he's just, his beliefs and behaviors and approach are just designed to just slot perfectly into this world.
That's fair.
Even though he's counterculture. He doesn't walk in step with what you're supposed to do in life. You know, he doesn't go to college and work 9 to 5 and build a family. He doesn't do any of that.
I like that they have the Big Lebowski to be the comparison, where it's like, in a lot of senses, that's like the proper way to live your life. You know, like he's successful, he's all these things, but really it's so empty. Whereas Lebowski has such a small space on this planet, but he fills it so like full of richness.
Yeah.
I think it's cool.
He's like a hobbit. He's like, he has his little hobbit hole that he just hangs out in and smokes his pipe from, and he doesn't care about the world of big men.
He drinks those White Russians. I remember having a phase of drinking only White Russians because I thought it was so cool.
I've never had one. I probably never will.
It's good. It's good. You got to put a little more
Does it go with almond milk?
We should have had one on this podcast.
Oh, that'd be good. But yeah, you got to put a little extra Kahlua, more than the recipe calls for. Or else it's just creamy vodka with a little bit of coffee. That's not fun.
Interesting.
Double the Kahlua.
Do you think that, like, we find out that the Big Lebowski is like morally bereft? Like, he has no money. He's not who he claims to be. He's a liar. And he also was trying to embezzle funds from this foundation that his own daughter, like, co-owns.
And also totally sacrifice this other man, like throw this other man under the bus.
Yeah. So then the dude then naturally is the moral character. You can't tell on the surface, but deep down he is principled and is, you know, someone you should look up to. But do we actually have evidence of that other than just liking him?
I don't think so. I feel like he's a pretty neutral character. I don't think he does anything outside of himself to help other people. Like, I feel like the most generous thing he does, but even this you could tie to being selfish, is show up at his landlord's dance recital with his friends.
That's pretty nice.
It's nice, but it's also like his landlord's kind of just like letting him live there, so it's kind of the least he could do, you know?
Yeah, and he pays rent late and stuff like that.
I don't know, man. I think I get the sense that when they're characterizing dude in that early part of the movie, when that sorry character knocks on his door and asks him to go to his like interpretive dance recital, and the dude's just like, I'll be there. I think that's meant to endear us to him.
That's fair. And the fact that
he's
he
a good
does show
person.
up. Because you're right. In a different stoner movie, he wouldn't show up and he'd be like, oh, sorry, man. Oh, I'm just really messed up. Sorry.
He wasn't lying to him.
No, he wasn't lying, and he
went.
actually followed through, which is the opposite.
He's got
of
nothing
Big
else to
Lebowski.
do. And I think he's only doing it because he knows that it means a lot to him.
And
Well,
it's nice that
it's
he
the-
actually brought his friends too. Like it's
Yeah,
like that's
exactly.
actually a
And
nice
he was
thing.
nice to the stranger when he was talking to him in the bar, and like he does genuinely just seem to be a nice guy. He cared about the stuff with Donnie and was like, you know, don't get so angry at the mortician and stuff like that. Like he seems to be like know what's right and wrong. He may not care, but he still
also
wants to be polite.
doesn't want to do the things that. Why can't I?
He wanted to
Walter
give
wants
them the
to
$1
do.
million.
Yeah, he doesn't want to like screw around like Walter does, and he's not like entitled. Like Walter kind of always justifies these things, like finds a way that he's owed. But Lebowski wants nothing to do with that. The dude wants nothing to do with that. So I guess I'll give him the benefit of the doubt.
I think so too. I think
I'll give him the moral high ground.
certainly over the other Lebowski.
Yeah.
Certainly over most characters in this movie. I do love Maud though. Maud, I guess is what they
Maud,
say.
yeah.
I love the introduction to her as well when he's just kind of like walking into
Just
this
zip lines
weird,
over him.
horror. Yeah.
There's just naked Julianne Moore. Her voice that she does in this movie is fantastic. I
That
don't
like
know.
Audrey Hepburn kind of
Yeah.
thing.
And freaking Professor Lupin when he's just like laughing.
Is that the guy in the chair?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that guy was very.
She answers
odd.
the phone. They just start speaking Spanish. Que ridiculoso. Ay, ay, ay.
God.
That's such a weird scene. This movie's chaotic like that. Similar.
Yeah.
That's why it's kind of similar in another way to Pulp Fiction. Not only being like 90s movies like take place at the same time. They're both chaotic where you go from, you know, oh, it's a car chase, and then suddenly we're in this pawn shop and getting butt raped. Yeah. It's like, how did we get to here? This movie has that quality as well, but didn't have to have this non-chronological chopped up presentation to get there. It actually just constructed a straightforward narrative that's that wacky.
Yep.
Yeah, that's why it's so hard to talk about this movie, because it feels like it's chopped up, but it's just like each scene is so unique and stand out. Like from the start with the visceral violence and the milk going everywhere and the pissing on the rug, which I think is hilarious, because I was like, man, if I was a thug, that would be my calling card. It's just that like little bit of insult of like, I'm just gonna piss on your floor. And it's just like, oh, and then they're really mad about it, and he's like, whoa, whoa, whoa. We don't say Chinaman though. That's disrespectful. Whoa, and they just like keep going, and I'm like, this is so funny.
Oh, man, don't you think the pee would splash on your shoes though?
Probably.
Just pee far enough.
Whatever.
He doesn't.
He's got a stronger flow, bro.
He's right there. It's like right in front of his toes.
I just love how the dude responds. He's like it's like put in the toilet, and he's like, "Where's the money, Lebowski?" And he's like, "Oh, it's down there. Just put me down. I'll get another look."
That's one of his first lines in the film too.
It's so funny.
That's like the first line that made me kind of like cock my head side. I was like, "Oh, this character's like different than I would think." He's not. Again, this goes to his whole bravado when he's like approaches Bunny. It's like he's not like a sniveling, like coward kind of like path of least resistance character.
No,
he's like continually trying to fight against authority. Even when he meets the Silip Hoffmore Seaman character, and they're going over all those different plaques, and he just keeps touching that one, and he just tells him not to touch it.
But he just keeps.
And then as soon as he tells him that, he does one more little touch before walking away.
Yeah.
He just has to stand up to authority at every sense all the time.
I didn't pick up that like when he's talking to Maud after sex, Maud? How do they say it in this movie? He's like, oh, I was one of the Seattle 7. Like, and I was like, oh, that's like a real thing. Like he incited riots and was like part of a real counterculture thing, or at least like certainly the character. And I thought that was interesting that they kind of gave him more like a bigger role in the world that he's sort of backed away from. And I think that characterizes him in an interesting way where like if he felt like it made sense, he would totally step forward again and be this bigger character, but he's just kind of happy to be in the background.
Yeah, he also says he co-authored the Port Huron Statement, which is I looked that up. It's basically like this paper that these the student society created in Michigan for like how a democratic kind of society would work.
I see.
Without having the that system that they have in the States where the electors actually vote and you only vote for the electors. Yeah. So I guess so he says he penned that. So, but I think the broader point of saying those things is just other than being like a humorous kind of backstory is that it's also this trope of when you're young and idealistic, you do all these things, and then you get older and you're just like, duh. Yeah. And then you just relax.
I also love it because when he is not great at reading. Anytime he has to read something, it takes him forever. Like he's reading the ransom note. He's like, bring the girl out to, I'm like, what is taking him so long? And there's something else where he's reading it. He's like looking at it for a long time and just like nodding. And I'm like, this man cannot read. There's no way.
I think maybe they just did that for the audience's benefit. Also, he's always high.
That's true. My favorite story, one of my favorite stories about this movie.
The audience's benefit because the note is up on screen for that whole time, right?
That's true.
And I think there's another character talking.
Oh, yeah.
So like they need to give you enough time to hear what they're saying and read the note.
Just chaos. Just chaos.
Or you can't read.
Yeah.
We'll never know.
I'm reading the same speed as Lebowski.
Yeah. Yeah, one of my favorite tidbits about the making of this movie is that apparently Jeff Bridges is very easy to direct. Like he doesn't require much maintenance. But before they shot any scene, he would just go to the Cohen Brothers. He's like, did the dude smoke up before the scene? And that's the only question he would ask. And he would play it different. And if they said yes, he would just like rub his eyes and like play it way more stoned. I think one of the strengths of this movie is how like authentic, or how like, that's not quite the word. Maybe, sure, authentic every portrayal feels. Like it doesn't feel forced or like acty. It just feels like everyone kind of settles into it. Apparently they had weeks and weeks of rehearsal. Like they just got lucky with the timing and schedule. So they rehearsed a ton. There's no improv in this movie, which surprised me.
Yeah, there's like one line.
Yeah, which I would have expected.
What's the one line?
He calls somebody a parquet something. He like insults somebody, and that's like the only line that's improv in the entire movie.
Yeah.
Every dude or man is all scripted.
That's so crazy.
Whoa. Yeah, and he has that monologue that's so meandering and full of gaps and stumbles. And I wondered if that was scripted exactly like
everything
it said.
I definitely agree about the characters. I relate most to Donnie. I think it's so funny how every time he sits down, he bowls a strike every single time he bowls, which I think is funny.
No, there's that one that stands.
So there's one at the very end, which is right before he dies.
Oh.
But otherwise, he strikes every time. And then he sits down and goes, "What are we talking about?" And then we'll be like, "Oh yeah, pissing on your rug, that's bad." Like trying to figure out what's going on, which is something I do where it's like, I still want to be involved in the conversation, even though I'm late. So I'll like just say things again. Be like, "Yeah, that was pretty crazy."
Just get kind of brought in.
Well, have a character you kind of hate yell at him also makes you kind of like be like, "Hey, leave Donnie alone."
Yeah, exactly. It's like, he's just a sweet boy.
Yeah.
He just wants to
I
be
love him
friends.
so much.
Yeah, because they always open on him, and he's always, because he has hit a strike, you always just see him smile. So like, yeah, authentically. So
And he's always wearing these custom bowling shirts, but none of them say Donnie on it. They're all just like random names or blank. It's like,
That's
okay,
amazing.
just random shirts.
And then there's, of course, the shut the fuck up, Donnie. You're out of your element, Donnie thing. Which doesn't make me laugh, really. It's not something I'm ever going to like quote, though a lot of people do. But one that I noticed that I thought was awesome was, it's when Donnie goes and tells him that they made the semis or something like that. And Walter's reflexes go to cut him off and say, "Shut the fuck up, Donnie." But then as he's saying that, he's like processed what Donnie just said. So he's like, "Shut the fuck up, Donnie. What time do we play?"
Yeah.
That was just like such a, when writing, I don't know. You have to be so in the story and so in the character for a joke like that to occur to you while you're writing.
But it also is so dependent on those performances, and John Goodman fucking brings it because he's such a despicable character, but I still can't hate him. You know, like I'm not like leaving the movie and be like, "Oh, I hate Walter." It's
No.
like, you're like, yeah, he's kind of crazy, but like, you know,
He's like an uncle that you like don't want to be at the dinner table with at Thanksgiving, but you love him.
yeah.
And like, he's going to take you to the shooting
Like when
range.
he friggin' throws the bowling ball at the nihilist and shit.
Yeah.
And like he always
That was Flea, hey, from the Red Hot Chili
Really?
Peppers.
Yeah, that's Flea.
That's
And then the
so
woman is
funny.
Amy Mann, who's another like famous singer-songwriter. I was like, what is going on?
Oh, really?
I think one of my favorite jokes in this movie, I've already said it twice, but it's when the nihilists are like pouting because they're not going to get the money, and they're like, "It's not fair." It's like
His
nothing
girlfriend
is
had to
fair.
cut off her toe.
Yeah, nothing is fair if
It's like,
nothing means anything. Like there is no fair.
I like when Flea gets hit with the bowling ball. And he's like,
Yeah, he's down for a long time.
honestly, you could mistake him for that same actor who played that gang member in RoboCop. You know, like the main,
yeah,
not
yeah,
the boss who was Red Foreman,
Yeah.
but like the main
The
underling
guy was like
one.
the bald, like kind of the bald front,
The gas station motorcycle
yeah,
one.
with the goatee. Yeah,
Totally
that
looks
guy.
like him. But I bet that
sure.
guy can't play bass.
Probably not.
See you later.
I like how twisty and turny this movie is. Like we've all seen it before, so we kind of knew where it's going to end. But I can remember the first time, like, what is fucking happening? Like, is Maud evil? Is like, who has the money? What? And then you realize like there is no money. And I think the movie does a really good job taking you on that journey and giving you enough information that at the end you don't feel like you were cheated out of like a real connected story. But it's like up until the last scene, you're like, I don't know what's gonna happen.
That's true. I think at one point, man, today I'm just so dumb. At one point, I think I paused the movie and was like, okay, what do we know? And I'm like trying to get caught up. Really, I'm like, why the nihilist though?
Yeah.
Like,
why
like
male
this
models?
tree horn? Did he actually send them? I don't know.
Yeah, well, so you assume that because
They're in his
Bunny-
movie,
Yeah.
but I don't think they're really associated in terms of getting the money, are they?
No, I don't think so. I think it's like they're disconnected and they do it because Bunny goes away and they know. Why do they do it? Because they can get the money, but how do they know to do it?
I don't remember.
I don't know. There's a few things with the story where I'm like, this could have been revealed or done differently. Like, I thought it was odd how they just showed Bunny driving by. I'm like, it would have been funny if maybe she got into the cab after the cab driver kicks him out or something. Like, I'm like, I just wondered why they told the audience that way. I was like, oh, okay, that's fine, I guess. Or like how the dude just figures it out. I'm like, oh, he just figured out what happened. They never opened the bag of money. That's weird when they plan on stealing it.
I thought
But,
that
okay.
annoyed me. That felt like a little bit of a hole where I'm like, they never even bothered to open it up and look at it.
Yeah, that's kind of weird because you definitely would.
Yeah.
And before you can decide to steal it, you need to know that it's not like locked with a combination or something. That sounds like an nitpick.
Epic. Nitpicks.
Riley, rest in peace. He'll be
No
back
longer
next
with
week.
us.
Yeah.
This is his kind of movie.
Do you think he would like this? I feel like he'd either love it or hate it.
I think he either would like it quite a bit or he would give it a positive score for sure.
Yeah.
But if he was harsh on it at all, I wouldn't believe him. I would be like, shut up. You know, sometimes Riley has opinions that I'm just like, you don't even believe your own opinion. Go have a good night's sleep and watch this shit again.
Yeah.
This is Riley written all over it.
Yeah.
Anyways, so now we're into this section of the show. I have a hit pick related to that same scene that you criticized about how she just like drives by. One thing that I think was sweet though is they want to show you that she's got her toes intact. They need to show you that somehow.
Ah, you
So-
like feet.
So they show the foot shot.
Pulp Fiction.
It's like a Tarantino movie.
Yeah.
They show they show a way. So how do they show the feet? She's driving, and she's driving stick. So she needs both feet to drive stick. And so they found an activity that they could show both feet doing something.
Yep.
And in a normal car, you only use your right foot, and your other foot would just be sitting there. But because it's stick, she uses the left on the clutch and the right on the accelerator. And it's just, as far as visuals go and like visual storytelling, we need to show both feet, all the toes on the feet. The feet should be active. That's just a great way to do it.
Yep.
So that's way better than getting in a cab.
I
Or
guess
she'd
so.
be like
Plus,
barefoot.
I mean, her
Roman sandals.
license plate is Lupin, which is rabbit in French. 'Cause her name is Bunny.
Lupin.
This is like not really a nitpick for that scene, but I think her pinky toe doesn't have like a toenail or something. I can't see it. Like it's so every time I watch it, I'm like, wait, was it her toe? And
Is
I'm
that
like,
a hammer toe or something?
yeah,
Is
it's
that what
just
that's
like I don't know, like it just disappears. Maybe it's just the lighting, but her right pinky toe, I was like, there is no nail. So like, did they? I don't know. But
There's no toe there.
called? What's the deal with when they reveal the person whose toe was actually severed? She's wearing a cowboy boot that's had the toe cut off, like
Yeah,
so
the
it could,
top of the.
so it could breathe, or so it wasn't so cramped in there.
Maybe.
Like she couldn't just choose sandals. Like, what's the deal with that? Why a cowboy boot?
maybe that's all they had. Maybe they're poor. That's why they need the
Yeah, so they need money. Hit pick, man. When he goes, what's the porn guy's name?
Jackie Treehorn.
When Jackie
No, no, no.
Treehorn's at the
Oh, I
phone, and he's
Log
like
jamming.
taking notes, and the dude gets up and like scrawls on it. Just a dude with a hard dick. I was dying. I was like, I don't remember this at all. And he just sits back down. It doesn't impact the movie at all. He just like takes this picture and has it.
So what's the deal? Yeah, and then the dude like sits back down and tries to look cool.
Yeah.
We can tell he looks kind of stiff.
Yeah.
So what's the deal with that? Jackie
Stiff.
Treehorn. Treehorn like just wants an excuse to leave. It's like in American Psycho when the cop's about to come into Bateman's office, so Bateman just picks up the phone, pretends to be on a conversation, like with a tailor or something. Got it. Call you back. All right, and then hangs
Yeah.
up. Now I look important before this meeting. So like, is that when he drugged the drink? Is that why he left?
I think had
He
the
must have
drink
drugged it before.
He wanted time for the drug to take
Maybe.
hold.
Not sure.
I'm
To
not
get
sure.
somebody because he gets people in. I don't know.
Yeah.
That is a great.
But either
That's
way,
probably
the dick
very
drug was
easily
so
answered.
funny.
Yeah, but that was
I
hilarious.
also my hit pick for me is I like the dream sequences. The first time I watched the movie, I thought they were kind of like annoying and like they broke up the pacing too much. But the more I see this movie, the more I love every single
that
one.
second one's pretty long.
It is
It's
It's pretty big. Like, what does it mean? They spent like probably a quarter of their budget on that.
Yeah. I just like the nihilists in the red suits with the
Yeah.
scissors.
It's also the only
Cuts
time we see the
balls.
dude bowl.
Yeah, it's true.
Is in his dream sequence.
That's like an IMDb trivia thing, isn't it?
I'm not gonna lie. The ex-girlfriend that liked the Big Lebowski, I texted her and was like, "Do you have interesting facts about the Big Lebowski?
Hit me up.
I need to input them into my notes so I look
so funny.
wicked smart and
You were like,
observant."
you up?
yeah, you up? I got Big Lebowski questions.
My I think my favorite moment in the dream sequences is when it's all the women in the skirts or whatever, and he's like bowling. He has the bowling ball through them, and he like rotates around and looks up their skirts, and the face, his face of pure joy. He's just like, oh, I love it.
Why does he just listen to bowling alley sounds?
Oh yeah, that,
Just gets
no.
really-
it
he
was the
does
tape.
acid
It was
and
the
listens to
tape
it?
from his previous like finals.
Oh, right.
It's-
Yeah,
you
it
can
was
see that
championship.
written on the
But I
tape.
can't imagine dropping acid and being like, I'm gonna listen to my bowling playoffs.
How do you know he dropped acid?
Because there was a thing in the same note. Because I remember looking up Jeff Bridges in the movie and how he would rub his eyes because he'd ask if he was on acid or smoking weed.
Oh,
Otherwise, yeah, it's pretty much just weed.
'Cause
But
he's-
also, weed does not make you think you're flying.
no.
And then,
I don't know, edibles could maybe.
yo,
Didn't-
hook me up.
Let's find
He's
out.
laying there listening to that track, and his hand is kind of doing these phantom bowl, like muscle memories too. Awesome.
Shout out to the fantastic soundtrack. Soundtrack for this movie is like a 10 out of 10 for me.
Except I wish they had used a second song. They used that one song in 2 sequences. What's that main song? It's like the song they play in the opening credits.
La, 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 la.
And then they show it again during the first Wacky Dreams sequence.
Doesn't even bother me even a bit.
Yeah, it's that.
I didn't notice.
God, what's that guy's name? Sings that song. Times They Are Changing guy. Oh my God.
Bob Dylan?
Yes. That's his song.
That's
is it
his
not?
song? Oh, maybe.
Is it not?
I don't know. I just
The Man
enjoy
in
it.
Me is what it's called, isn't it?
Yes.
I don't know. I'm pretty dumb today.
You're fine.
It is. That is.
See, you're smart.
I'm so smart.
So smart.
Just slow.
I just
I'm the dude.
Mahalo.
What they,
Mahalo?
what the audience doesn't know is that we smoked a huge J right before starting the film.
I wish.
One day.
Hit pick, Sam Elliott.
Yes.
Man, Sam Elliott's awesome. His voice and narrating, Los Angeles, just like what he
Los
pronounces.
Angeles.
What do you
He pronounces
think?
so weird.
What do you think's the purpose of like
The
having him
Stranger.
next to
That character's
the
name
dude?
is the Stranger.
Yeah,
right?
so it's like clearly there's meant to be like kind of not mirror images, but like parallel universe versions of each other or some
Okay.
kind of connection. What do you think like is the purpose of having them side by
I did
side?
not get it. And like him talking to the camera at the end, I'm like, I don't get what's happening here. It's just quirky.
It's
like
very
all I got
weird,
from it.
like because he starts off as just a disembodied narrator, and then he's in the movie suddenly. It's kind of weird and meta and like rule breaking almost. I don't know. It's one of those things, kind of when it's unexplained. Sometimes it's like a movie is happening inside a house, and you get a view outside a window of a whole other world that they never explain, and it just makes you go, "Wow, what a cool universe! This lore is so deep. The world building's so great because they're not telling me anything."
Yeah.
It kind of has that effect.
Yep.
You're like, who the hell is this guy? Does he have his own movie? Is
Yeah.
it better than the Jesus movie? We don't know.
I'd watch a Stranger movie. Probably not actually. small amounts is perfect.
Yeah.
I love having him in the movie though.
Can't even see his upper lip. Nope. Gone by mustache.
You gotta cuss so much. I love that.
Yeah, and he does. He says fuck 292 times.
Oh,
That's a lot of times.
that's a lot of fucks.
They're pretty gentle fucks.
Yeah, they're not angry
yeah.
fucks.
But even when they are angry, it's like he's like a compassionately angry person.
Wait, is that 200 times just him, or is that in the movie in general?
I believe it's how many times it's used in the movie.
Okay.
Yeah.
You don't know
Yeah,
for
he
sure.
does
You better
say-
text your ex.
Because he just says like "fuck, man" a lot. Like a lot of it's just like exasperation.
He does get increasingly exasperated in this movie.
Yeah, he's just exhausted.
Yeah, he like starts to make mistakes. Like I didn't actually find him very compelling. At the end, like when he's with Treehorn and he's giving, or was it when he was with the cop? He's with the cop and he's trying to give his like grand theory of what's going on. It's just
so
incomprehensible. I think that's got to be like the darkest hour for the
Yeah.
character. It's like, man, you really are just one of those scumbags that don't make any sense. Nobody. Yeah, like,
Yeah.
That cop scene, he was definitely at rock bottom. But getting the cup thrown into his face and then beat up on the floor, I'm like, dang, that was a good throw. I was really impressed by like the sheer velocity getting hit with that cup.
Man, he gets hit in the face too many times. Oh, I was laughing when he hammers that wood into the floor and sets up the chair. And then someone just opens the door the other way. And then he trips over it later too. Like that's
Yeah, he looks
So
back at it
perfect.
all like really ugly, nailed into the floor. It was really good.
Man, there's so many little details like that. Like the fact that he always makes his own drinks, and the one time he doesn't, it's when he gets like roofied. And it's like, I don't know, they just everything, and it's so subtle. And that's not necessarily a subtle thing with like the wood painting, but like painting. But like it's just visual, like the humor is just coming in from so many different angles, and it's just like these little visual gags, the lines, just everything.
Nitpick: the dude drinks and drives. He's supposed to be cool.
Yeah.
Cool guys don't drink and drive.
When he's smoking a joint while he's driving, not cool. Not
cool,
cool.
man.
distracted driving too.
But an actual nitpick: there's a lot of like small production errors. Like the last scene with the hugging and the ashes, which is so funny. You can like see his mic. And then all of a sudden the wind noise just like cuts off randomly. So it's just like wind noise is like, oh, it's okay, man. Wind is suddenly gone. You can hear them clearly. When the guy like runs out to his car being smashed, his mouth is closed, but you can hear him screaming.
That one bothered me, yeah.
There's like one part of a conversation where all of a sudden his mouth is like completely out of sync. And I'm like, what is going on?
hell?
But like, that's it. I feel like this movie doesn't have a ton of problems for me. It's just like it's a solid movie.
I feel like the Cohen Brothers are so good at that, of having a very good idea of the movie they want to make, and they go out and make that movie perfectly. And it's like, this movie isn't for everyone, and I get when people are like, I don't really like The Big Lebowski. I'm like, you're super wrong, but like, I get it. But they have a
I
vision.
could never love you.
Yeah, exactly. Like you just they are so good at executing on what they're trying to do.
I found myself wondering what they were trying to do. Like, what was the impetus for the whole thing? Were they thinking of, like, I want to do a movie that's a weird whodunit kind of convoluted kind of mystery, or were they like, I want a movie around this character, or like what? I think the dude might be based on a real person, so it probably started there.
It is based on a real person. I feel like the Coen Brothers are the kind of writers that give themselves exercises, in the sense that like they wrote this movie like with all these absurd ideas, but they're like, how do we make like an anti-movie? How do we make a movie that like has a protagonist that is the opposite of proactive, and like how do we make that work? But then they also want to give shout outs to film noir that they like, and like 'cause all their movies have always had elements of film noir. And so they want to like remix that and make it work in this weird universe. But like I feel like they kind of purposely set themselves a challenge, and then they just follow through. Like it feels like it's very intentional to have the movie be kind of weird and unorthodox.
It'd be cool to have a writing partner like that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's interesting. Like, I'm looking through their filmography, and it's all so unique.
What, they did Bad Santa?
They were probably producers on it or something.
That movie rules. I like it.
That movie.
I like it.
Because it's funny, when we were talking about what movie to do this week, I said we should do Oh Brother Where Art Thou. So I thought it was funny how we did The Big Lebowski, because I was like, oh, it's just another.
Oh, that's
Coen
because I
Brothers.
said what you said to David, and we were both like, nah, how about another one by them?
Yeah.
I want to see Oh Brother. I've never even seen it.
It's good.
It is, again, one of those things where it is executed so perfectly, but like how or why? Like it's just like this. And I think it's so interesting how it seems to be their thing, where they just get an idea and they go full out into it. And usually, I mean, if you like that movie, it's executed perfectly. Like when I think of Oh Brother Where Art Thou, it's like a movie for me. Like that's like a 9 or a 10 for me. And I can't think about why, but it just does everything it's trying to do so perfectly. And it's the same thing with this movie. I probably wouldn't recommend it to people, but I think it's a near perfect movie for what it's trying to achieve.
Well,
I love Fargo as well.
I think Fargo's my
I actually had a hit pick in this movie because that one cop who's in Lebowski's living room when he's reporting his car being stolen, I feel like that cop was from Fargo.
Yeah, so friendly.
He's like such a dork. He's like totally into like just by the book doing the job, and he's like, okay then.
Oh, I love too that he's not like a normal cop in a movie where he's like cynical and doesn't believe him. He's actually like genuinely trying to get the information out of him.
Yeah. They've got plenty of those cops in
One
this movie
problem
too.
solved.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting because they started writing this movie and they took a break and then did Fargo and then finished this movie and released it. So I wonder if there was any crossover there where they're just like in that mindset of like funny, quirky cop.
Or maybe they just wanted some kind of little holdover. Some kind of, this is the same universe.
We should do Fargo. I fucking love that movie.
It's great.
Yeah.
Never seen it, but go for it.
You haven't
Really?
seen Fargo?
No,
it's
you have
so
my
good.
blessing to do the
We should have
episode.
a dual episode where you watch Fargo, we watch Oh Brother. 2 movies, 1 episode.
2 episodes in 1 week?
Sure.
In Edmonton? Live. Coming you from Rexall Center.
So I feel like I enjoy this era of Coen Brothers movies much more than the later stuff. Like True gets pretty good, but Inside Llewyn Davis did nothing for me. Hail Caesar kind of sucked. Ballad of Buster Scruggs had a couple decent stories.
Yeah, I pieced out of that one too.
Yeah, there was like there was a couple like okay stories, but I don't like anthology movies that much usually. Like Sin City, it's like there's a couple good stories, but then there's always the like
Couple stinkers.
couple stinkers. Also, that movie is not aged.
What, Sin City?
Whew, it's rough.
I don't want
It's
to.
rough to watch. Just keep it in your memory.
I'll keep it in the memory. It was so good at the time.
I just saw the dancing Jessica Alba scene for reasons. Otherwise, I'll never watch the movie.
Watch
Yeah,
the
right
plot.
after A Girl's Gone Wild and Extends commercial. Jump over to Sin City.
The only other hit pick I have, the handoff scene where they try to throw the ringer bag, I think is so funny. When he jumps out of the car and the Uzi just starts going off, I was like, holy, that is the funniest thing I've ever seen. Just for it to go so wrong.
Yep.
So wrong.
Yeah, the movie's just great. Well, what else? You want to press those buttons for other segments? I didn't prepare anything.
No,
No.
I didn't really watch much else this week. I was too busy. It was a long weekend. Went to Rec yesterday. I was like
nice.
at 5 p.m. I was like, I should have invited James, but
I wasn't around anyway, so I was driving.
perfect.
Wreck Beach is a nude beach, guys.
Yep,
It's at UBC. It's dope.
pretty fucking sweet.
Nice.
You go there. I've seen the tan lines.
Yeah, it's true.
Very even tan, except for a necklace. A long chain.
My gold chain.
I feel like I want to take a second and just appreciate the Jesus a little bit more. I feel
Oh,
like
yeah. We need some time for
yeah,
that.
we didn't. John Turturro is Just
The way he moves his body, like a question mark.
Yeah, he's an interesting fella.
nobody fucks with the Jesus.
Yeah.
And his bowling partner, who's just like so silent and like happy to be there, and apparently he's like an actual professional bowler. So I
He
find it
looks
so
like
funny.
a professional.
Really makes
bowler.
my heart sore because he's shown in the montage, the bowling opening credits kind of montage.
Is he the one that's like?
Yeah, and the celly he does when he like twists his hips and pumps his fists like in such a fat guy way. I love it.
Actually, that was one of my hit picks. Was that dance? I fucking love that dance.
Does this movie have 2 opening credits?
It has a fake second opening credits where in the dream where it's like Jackie Treehorn presents The Big Lebowski or whatever, and it's like part of his dream. There's titles.
But there's also when the Sam Elliott character is narrating, there's names coming up on screen. Then some movie happens, and then the bowling montage it's like an actual opening credits.
I guess so. That it doesn't even click for me. Huh?
I can't even tell you if that's uncommon or not.
It's not
for,
that's not
for the
particularly
era.
common. It's a great movie.
Whatever.
Whatever.
What do you think is the best compliment for this movie? Like a second movie, like a double feature for this movie.
I think I would do like Fargo and this. I think it would be a fun
A
combo.
double Cohen Brothers. That's a cop out. Let's go do a non-Cohen
totally.
Brothers. I mean, I thank you for choosing any movie. Thank you, David, for participating.
Like Clerks. It's like the same kind of era. It's just different people, and they are still kind of nihilistic, don't care, hate the world. But it's like the negative version of the dude.
I would go with Dark Knight Rising.
Yeah.
Or Rises. Imagine.
It's a different
imagine
movie.
Bane and then the dude. This is the worst pairing ever.
Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas.
Oh.
Put that on as the 3rd movie of the night.
Yeah.
You Google this? Is this a thing you can?
I just said stoner movies, and I'm like looking at like noir stoners.
Well,
Stoner noirs.
this podcast is getting a little meandery, stonery.
You haven't even hit all the buttons yet.
Like,
What
What
do you
about
mean?
fan service?
Ah,
I'm a big fan of this show, and I want all of the
do you have
segments.
something?
Yeah.
All right, hit the button, David.
Oh, God.
oh god. Okay.
We'll do Nope. That's your most recent episode, right?
Yep.
Like this comment from Real HKV.
Is it real like REEL?
No.
Ah, okay.
I
not
know,
a
you really
cinephile.
messed that up. If you have a free name change, use it. 2 shows per week would be amazing. Like one which you've seen already and a new one.
One that I've seen already, or one that he's seen already. Yo, real.
You, the reader, have seen already and a new one. That way you can talk about ones you actually have experiences with and, go see a new movie.
I'd love for us to have no responsibilities except this podcast. It would
That'd
be
be
the
Don't let your
sickest.
dreams be memes.
I would actually read the IMDb, see the movie more than once.
I love when I have time to do research. I'm like, oh, yeah.
Read the screenplay. That's great. Oh, I could have done that with this one too.
It'd be
It
a
would have
great
been the
screenplay, I
movie.
bet.
They didn't do anything different. It would have just been the movie.
Yeah, but it's still, even in
put on
those
subtitles.
cases, it's still nice. No, it's not the same because you get to see the action, the stage direction
And how it's
of like, just the description of what do they say?
Turn on the audio captions.
Yeah.
So like the lady's describing it to you.
Yeah, like how do they
scoffs.
describe the Jesus, his celebration after doing a strike? Like how do they
Rhythmically
describe?
pumps.
Yeah, how do they describe his mannerisms? You want to
licking the bowling
see
hole.
that? Although they direct their own stuff, so they can be more sparse because it's
That's
like
fair.
they're just trying to remind themselves how they want to see it because they're gonna direct how they want to see it anyway.
Did you guys know how they got their start? They were like they basically just like crowdfunded their movie. They like sent letters to a bunch of people, but mostly they targeted dentists. So they would get dentists on like $1,000 to buy a share in the movie for Blood Simple, which was the first movie, and they crowdfunded. They crowdfunded before crowdfunding was a thing. And
I seem to
dentists.
recall a podcast or something similar to that. There was like
I'm sure I'm
a
missing
group
details.
of dentists who acted as venture capitalists for Hollywood.
That's awesome.
The dentists are the most depressed occupation.
Everyone knows that.
Well, you need to invest more into
Okay,
movies.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry to offend you.
Come on.
Didn't know your dad was a dentist.
I wish.
I wouldn't have this job.
Yeah, I'd be places, man.
Places with nice teeth.
All
All
right.
right. Hit the now playing button.
What? You're taking over, man. I want to go home. Okay, what's going on? What are you watching?
What are you watching?
I can't go home yet.
Yeah,
am I
we're still working.
watching?
I'm trying to kill time so I can go.
I was water skiing this weekend, man. I didn't watch any movies.
What?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I listen to the WAN show in the car. That's it. How about you?
I'm sorry to listen to that WAN show.
That was
some
rough.
technical issues, yeah.
Uh-oh.
Myself, well, I got my Steam Deck, so I've been playing.
You have a Steam
everything
Deck,
on
okay.
Yeah, Luke Lafreniere gave me his pre-order. So I got
La Friend, eh?
Truly, I felt honored, other than the fact that he pre-ordered the most expensive one. So that was a little
In
hurting.
this economy?
But yeah, man, the Steam Deck, get one. It is better than I thought. I was playing NBA 2K22, which is not what I would typically play, but I was like, why not? It looks amazing. You can like see the sweat dripping off them on this tiny handheld.
And you're a PC gamer typically, right? Or otherwise?
Yeah, most of the time. I have an Xbox Series X, but it's just like my living room console. And otherwise, I've been rewatching You, the killer rom-com.
Yeah, everyone's girlfriend watches that.
Yeah, that's why I started rewatching. I was seeing a girl, and she's like, "Yeah, I want to watch You." I was like, "All right, I'll
knew
play
it.
Steam Deck."
I was generalizing just because my wife watches it, but look, I was right. Hey,
That's so funny.
And then the second season of Upload, the Amazon Prime exclusive show.
It's good?
It's okay. It's very cheesy, but like when I'm not really watching, I was like unpacking my new place and playing Steam Deck. It's totally good. I like future Earth stuff where it's not like so far dystopic or we're in space. Being able to actually picture this stuff happen, I think is really interesting to be like, oh, being able to take your memories, put them in a computer, so you're an AI, you know,
you live
living
forever,
a life
right? Yeah.
forever is super interesting, and the struggles that come with that, I think makes for really interesting content, especially when the second season explores the impact of poor people not being able to afford it and people trying to shut it down and murder people, so there is no alternative to the one business that can do it. So it is kind of interesting, but it is also very, very cheesy.
Sometimes I like cheesy, though.
Which is fine.
I don't want everything to be like really intense and dark. I don't want things to always be like that HBO feeling where like everyone wants to kill themselves at every moment. It's nice to have a little bit of lightheartedness and cheesiness, because then you can just like filter it out and like you don't have to internalize it as much. And I find TV, for me, I always like, it hangs like a cloud over my life, and if something's like too dark and too intense, sometimes like kind of affects me.
yeah.
And so I like things that are just like a little easier to handle. So
Fair.
I can get into it.
Life is hard enough.
Yeah. No, my life is perfect. My life is perfect.
Didn't you move too?
I moved, yeah. Well, yeah, he moved in my old place.
Oh, that's I know where you live. I went there once. And you?
And I moved closer to here.
Wow.
So I moved townhouse.
I want to move.
His address is 5. No,
69 way.
Yo, what have you been playing or watching?
I was pretty busy this weekend too. I'm
Look at you.
still going on the Orville.
I need more friends.
It's the best fucking sci-fi ever, man. It's so good. The season is phenoms. Everyone needs to watch the
Phenoms.
Orville. Highly recommend. It's worth it. It's just fucking watch it.
You're a big Seth MacFarlane fan. You have a Stewie tattoo.
I was like, am I? I like Ted fine. I liked Family Guy early on. It was pretty good. A Million Days to Why in the West was garbage.
Yeah.
But and he wasn't. I think he's realized that he's not the best actor on the show. He's gotten a lot better, but he's kind of written himself into the background, which I think is good because it's allowed him to focus more on the production and directing. But they are doing some stuff. I just don't want to spoil anything. They're just doing the good stuff. Watch the Orville. Someone else.
The weekly Watch the Orville.
I'm not going to stop. Oh, there's one more week. There's one more week left.
I don't have any now playings. I got some now readings.
Tell me some now readings.
Sorry, that's not what we're looking for.
I got maybe 4 pages in before my kid bothered me.
Green Eggs and Ham.
On actually, across 2 sessions, I got 2 pages each time of Permanent Record, which is Edward Snowden's book.
Oh.
Seems promising.
Is it kind of like a tell-all sort of behind the curtain?
I don't know yet, but it's basically
Fair. That is fair.
Surveillance capitalism. That's a cool combination of words.
I don't like it.
I want to know more about that until I don't want to know more about that.
I know. That's the kind of stuff that I feel like makes you so hopeless when you realize like the depth of how much our life is controlled
and
by
the incompetence of all these agencies that have all the power and data, and they're just like, oh, I don't know how to. It's like the whole Hillary Clinton email server thing. Oh, I have all this power. I don't know. Do I unplug it and plug it back in? Like, I don't know what it does or how to do it. That's what Snowden said, basically. He's like, they knew the internet and data was important, so they hired me. I was 22. And then within a year, I had top secret access. And a year after that, I was in charge of everything.
That's so sick.
By 26, I was aggregating the whole world's phone calls, not just Americans. Yeah, it's just insane.
Crazy.
So looking forward to that. I've also been reading The Art of Sauna Making because I want to build a sauna. And
sauna. I think it's sonnet. And I
Yeah,
was
I
like,
was like,
oh, we got a poet coming up in
yeah,
here.
you just end with a rhyming couplet, 16
Where are you
lines.
gonna put a sauna?
At Salt Spring, there's like this derelict part of my yard. There's this useless. There's a table there now, but there's no reason to sit at that table because...
I thought you were going to put it on your patio. I'm like, that's a very small sauna.
No, I don't want an infrared sauna. They suck. So, yeah, I don't know how much cedar costs per foot yet. I'm going to find out and probably go, nope, and burn the book. But right now, my life is consumed with trying to figure out how to build a sauna. And for those wondering, no, I'm not that handy. I watched a couple of YouTube videos. It looks pretty easy, though. It's about as hard as a shed.
That sounds challenging. But it sounds like a very dad project you've taken on.
I believe in you.
Yeah, because my family can't help me. So anything that pulls me away from them, that's a dad
You're
project.
sure your kids can't help you?
I don't want them to be near me.
Kids, when you're watching this in 20 years, internalize all this.
You were annoying.
You're probably not wrong. Probably not wrong.
That's our show.
What a way to end
Tune
it.
in next week when Riley will be back instead of this hobo. And just joking. We know you have a home. It's new.
It's my old home.
Yeah, it's
The Dude Abides at TJM Pod. That's Twitter. And hello at there'rejustmovies.com. That's email.
Mission Impossible 4 next week.
I'm looking forward to it.
Have you seen Mission Impossible 4?
You're
Show
a fan.
up.
You're part of the convoy. You're going to be watching
I've only
ahead.
seen one Mission Impossible, and I think it was not the last one, but the one before.
5?
Yeah.
That's pretty good. 6 is the
very
He's
random.
been old for most of the franchise.
Really?
He looks so good, though. God, I love those movies. 4, 5, 6, bomb. Bomb!
What do you give it a 10?
I don't know. We'll see.
I can't wait.
hopefully
The
it'll
best
spoil it.
episodes are when it's our favorite movies. They're the best. Scott Pilgrim, Dune, Lord of the Rings. Those are like our top
top
episodes. You can tell, like the listening experience is good, and you can tell from the analytics. Everybody watches them. Be there, Jake.
Let's find out if we liked this movie when we look at the analytics in a week.
Bye.
Bye.